Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's FPV Podcast. This week, we got one of the prominent leaders anytime he's actually at a drone race. I'm talking to Mac over here, commonly known, or his handle is McFly. And I'll let him introduce himself in here in a second. Before that, though, Elvin, introduce yourself. Say hi.
Hey guys, Team Pulse, Team Cora, Drones World, here we come, baby.
He's so excited about wings.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm so excited.
McFly, man, you are like one of the wildly veterans. You've been doing really good. You got a good story to tell. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
My name is Mackenna McClure. My pilot handle is McFly, as most of you know me. I fly for Team Lumenier, Spectrum FPV, Pulse, GemFan, and Racecraft are my sponsors that I'm with right now. Lumenier is my primary, my people that basically we roll around the country with, and we're the ones that are kind of traveling around a lot right now as a team.
Yep. Every time I see you in a race, you're sporting that Lumenier collar right there. It looks good on you too, by the way. It's like,
yeah, gotta be. I'm fortunate. I'm really close to him, actually. I'm like an hour away, so it
nice.
Awesome. That's pretty awesome. And it's one of those things where it's always good to be closer to your sponsors, because then you can always, anytime you need something or if you need to talk to them, they're right there.
Yeah. And the good thing too is no matter, like, even whoever else is being sponsored at the time, we fortunately kind of get called first. They're like, "Hey, you guys want to check out this new product?" Absolutely.
Right. Right down the road.
That's right. It's like, I'm there. Hold on. Get in the car, drive, have some fun. That's awesome. Where are you out of in Florida?
I live in Dunedin, Florida. It's in Pinellas County. I'm right next to Clearwater, so right next to the beaches, basically.
Yeah. See, he's lucky. He's got beaches. He gets to fly. He's got the life going down there.
Florida, we got year-round flying. That's one of the things we're fortunate with.
Yes.
Right.
Unfortunately, right now you also have year-round hurricanes and thunderstorms.
Yeah, we haven't
had a tornado in a while.
No, we haven't had anything bad here for a while, and this is actually the first landfall we're going to have with the tropical storm, and it's going to kind of postpone my leaving to get up to Muncie, Indiana for the multi-GP Nats.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. All right, yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, McFly or Mac, whichever. Tell us how you got into FPV. I mean, you are definitely one of the veterans of this sport.
Yeah, actually, the way that I got into FPV about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, my buddy was flying a DJI 450. I was really intrigued by it. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll try to build one. I went straight to buy a 4-cell, got 1,000 kV motors, threw it all together, thought, I'm going to fly this immediately, no problem. Well, I ended up spending like $1,200-$1,300 in the first 2 weeks just breaking stuff, and then finally I realized, I was like, all right, maybe I need to fly something smaller, so I bought a Nano QX. And I flew a Nano QX for about a month, and then finally started figuring out how to fly a 450 line of sight and felt comfortable enough to do it. Randomly went down. My uncle owns a commercial company in Miami, Florida. So went down there. They were getting into some drone filming stuff, and I just happened to have my 450 with me. And he's like, hey, you ever thought about putting a camera on that before? I was like, no, not really. And then I kind of researched some stuff, and then threw a gimbal on the bottom, threw a GoPro Hero 3 Black on it, and started figuring out how to film stuff with it, and started kind of doing that like amateurly. And then decided one day, I was like, you know what? I was like, this seems like this could happen. So I got really big into it. I invested like $60,000 of my own money, and went full bore like 2 years ago. At the time when I did it, though, the government was not issuing 333s. The states were usually not issuing any kind of insurance for any drone filming, no matter what. Well, for most companies to want to hire you, you need to have insurance. And you need to have a business license. So it was really tough for me to do it at the time, which, is unfortunate. But hey, it was like I learned so much during that time, because that's one of the reasons I trust my equipment. I was flying $10,000 copters when people were really flying $10,000 copters. So it was like, that was how I first got into that. And ran right at the end of it, I was pushing real hard. It was like 2014, 2015, right around there. And my mom got sick, went to the hospital. She was supposed to be in there for like 7 days. It was supposed to be like something quick, and she ended up being in there for like 90 days. And
Whoa.
yeah, it kind of like stopped my life, and I basically dropped everything, took care of her, and helped her for a year, and everything I had like kind of slowly disappeared, and which wasn't a big deal, you know. It was for a great thing. Man, my mom's here, she's rocking. She's one of the reasons I'm able to do what I'm doing right now. One of the reasons that I do this full time is because of her.
Nice.
So I sold a lot of my filming equipment, bought a mini little copter because like, oh, these look cool. Didn't really know a whole lot about FPV. Bought a pair of goggles. Sky Zones were my first goggles. I had a DX8 at the time, Spectrum, and I actually bought a MXP. And then the first copter I really flew was a Voodoo. That was my first copter I flew. Voodoo 250 was what I flew, and I started doing that, and I got lost basically. And I couldn't stop. And for about 9 months, I flew every single day and didn't know what else to do. I went to Drone Nationals that year, 3 months after I started, and been pushing ever since. And 2016 rolled around, and my mom told me, she goes, I see something happening with this. She goes, the growth of this industry looks incredible. I've done a lot of research about it. And she goes, you seem like you're really happy with what you're doing. And I'm like, I am. I really, I enjoy what I'm doing. I want to do some of this. She goes, well, as soon as this year starts, she goes, do nothing but that. Focus on just that. So that's pretty much what I've taken it as. So every day, man, this is my job right now. No matter what, if I'm
Follow
making
your
money,
passion.
yeah, like this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to make something of it, and I see it out there, and I see a lot of people do. So, if you stop though, you get left behind right now, man. People are pushing hard.
Oh, yeah.
We just had this conversation.
Yeah. Dude, that's a great story, and really good on you for taking care of family first, and getting that taken care of, because that is really super important. And
just having a good base, man, is good, and you're recognizing where you come from.
My family's super supportive. They'd rather you do something you love than sit there and be miserable doing something, and they see a possibility of this being something that I can do for a while. So they want me to push as hard as I can until they know there's nothing.
Definitely. That's awesome.
I'm not stopping.
Yes, that is awesome. You're actually one of the few people that we've talked to where you went from big professional copters and then going down to small ones. It's not too often people hear that, because people you get stuck in the professional world. It's easy.
Yes.
Man. Yes.
Oh, completely. I mean, it's really interesting because the scenery changes a lot with that too, and that's the one thing that's interesting about it. It's always different, but you gotta. Honestly, to get into that at this point in time, you gotta have a pretty decent setup with a good little bit of backing to be able to really push in that industry, because everybody's trying to do it.
Yes,
exactly.
And the equipment, it's not going down; it's just going up.
No.
When
the camera's not any cheaper.
No, that's crazy. I had a Canon Mark III, and I thought I was awesome, and then the Reds and then the freaking Black Magics come out, and then I'm just like a rise, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay, nope. I'm the small dog again.
I'm good.
That's cool. I remember you actually you worked at the Voodoo shop too, right? Is that how you kind of got your start?
I was fully dedicated at that time just to be around it in any sense, like any way I could, just to see what was going on. So when new things came in, I could be someone that was testing them and letting them know what was going on. And me and Code Red, like Cody Matson, like that's my best friend when it comes to doing all this. Like, he's the one that we push back and forth, and I was just there every day to get better. If I wasn't around him for that long, I'd never be where I am right now. That's for sure. You can only get so good by yourself. It's really hard.
True.
You gotta have people pushing there with you no matter what. Even if they're not at to your level, they still got to be there. That you need someone to be that supportive person. It's hard to stay really focused by yourself. At least it is for me.
No, I agree with that. It's always good to have someone motivate you on your down days, and you do push each other, right? Because if you're both competitive, man, you'll just rapidly learn faster.
Oh, completely. It's amazing.
So definitely cool. Yeah. So I'm guessing that you started off with Voodoo, and then you just picked up with Lumenier. Is that how the story went?
Yeah, I was with Voodoo from this, like when I first started flying. When I went to Drone Nationals in 2015, I flew out there myself, but Voodoo let me fly on their team, so I flew with them, and then I flew Voodoo from that entire period on. At the end of the day, kind of just parted ways, and didn't really know what was going to happen, and went and talked to Lumenier, and they wanted to start up a race team, and I mean, it was really good timing, I guess, more so than anything.
Hey,
I mean,
you know what? Sometimes that's all it takes.
yeah, and I mean, trust me, I feel fortunate to be in the situation I am. I'm with one of the best teams you could possibly be.
Definitely, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. So, yeah, before we continue on with your road, how was Drone Nationals in 2015? Was that like the eye opener, saying, "Yes, I can do this. I'm going to. This is it."
Yeah, that was the first time that, I mean, like, we had been to races and stuff like that, 30, 40 people, but like we went to a race, there was 125, 100.
It's a lot, yeah.
Like,
and that place was hot.
Yeah, like, even though there wasn't a ton of spectators, it was still enough people from the industry and people that cared about it enough that you felt like, like, if there's this much,
was in the right spot. Yeah,
there's a possibility for something to happen. And I mean, a year later, whoa, like,
definitely.
you've seen it if you've watched the last year. I mean, it feels like it was yesterday, but like the last year has been crazy.
right.
It has been crazy. There's been a lot of pushing, and there's a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of the high end organizations jockeying for power right now. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Right.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah.
And things have changed. Things are. What you was flying 6 months ago is not even relevant today. You know what I mean? It's
not
like,
but I will say something though, that there's a certain amount that your components can do, but I believe at this point we are all getting so good that a lot of it is coming down to pilot skill and consistency. It really is.
Yes. I think we need a big evolutionary jump in battery power before we get that next real big jump in speed and stuff.
We all dreaming about
Trust
that.
Me, everybody's waiting for it. That's why everybody's going to go to 5 and 6S soon. It's going to happen.
Yes,
yeah,
it's definitely. Well, like, hey, you guys are the pros, man. You got to push the boundaries, and 4S is like a good intermediate one, and then you just let the pros go.
Yeah.
Well, a while back, there was some guys running 6S at races, right? There were
some guys trying to. No one was really doing this successfully because they were having a lot of ESC desyncing issues and stuff, and that was the main thing. But technologies, I mean, in that sense, like, that's caught up. So I mean, we're able to run it at this point. It's just it's smarter. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's smarter. It's one of the reasons Heli just did that a long time ago when they went from, running crazy, 3S setups that had super high KV to get motors to spin up to the right speeds. What did they do? They went to 6S, dropped the KV down. Your components take less amps. They don't get as hot. They run more efficiently. It's a no-brainer, I think, really, when it comes in terms of us getting better performance out of our systems.
High voltage, baby. High voltage.
He's already on the bandwagon. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the things that it's simple. It's simple. The better, the cleaner the video is going to be, is the higher the voltage. The cleaner everything gets as you go up. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So like I said, you were here from the very beginning. In terms of this becoming into like real hardcore racing, it's like, what have you seen that's kind of evolving in all these racing events? Is there something that you really see? It's like, is it the tracks are starting to emerge differently? Is it people trying to fly different things, or is it, is there any trends that you see as you went from 2015 to 2016?
Everybody, yeah, I mean, when we all went to 2015, it was wild. It was like the first time people ever saw any small copters, like anything that was like a 220. Like, that was, like, you saw blackouts, but like nothing really like substantial, tons of those around. It wasn't like that. And then all of a sudden, 2015, you saw more, and then it grew, and then everybody's flying smaller size copters. I personally, like, with the trends of the copters and stuff, like, it's really people finding solid components. But again, this is like computers. It's the same thing, man. The evolution changes every month, 2 months.
Yep, every month or two.
And there's a lot of people that hop on bandwagon stuff because, you know, it's like, oh, the hype. Oh, someone says this is awesome, the hype. And, you know, they may be decent, but honestly, I mean, there's still stuff out there that's been a staple for a while. I mean, the Lumenier 2206, 2350 kV motors, man. Before I was with Lumenier, I was running those motors. Like, some of the best motors out there, and they rock, man. But like at the races and stuff, I think the really big thing for us is really getting you know, proper organization of the races, and we're seeing it a little more here and there. That's the one thing that I've noticed. They're finally going to start listening to us as pilots, I feel like, which is a good thing. It's been a while. We've been trying to preach a couple things for a while, and, you know, it's usually we go there and people just do what they want. But the thing is, you travel to 20 or 30 events in, you know, a 10-month period of time. I feel like you know, it's just a suggestion, you know, try it, see if it works. And the thing is, it works. We know it does. And we're trying not to be, you know, rude about it. But at this point in time, we do know how it works when it comes to a piloting system and the way things should run. Certain people should run events, and they're really good at setting up events. But the pilots are going to start having a voice, which I think will be really good for the community in general. So
yeah, I think you're right. I think, you know, even organizers like us, you know, eventually you're going to have your pick of which events you want to go to. And you're going to be like, well, I'm going to go to that event because I know it's going to be well run, and it's going to be like,
exactly.
And it's like, so yeah, it'll get to that point. It's just, it's a matter of time.
Hey everybody, it's FPV Fly Girl here with your tip of the week. And I've had a couple people ask me about motion sickness and FPV flight, and since it's something that I had to overcome, I thought that I'd spend the next couple episodes giving pieces of advice on how to get over motion sickness. And the first thing to try is a screen instead of goggles. It makes it a little bit easier because you're not as locked in, and you can actually glance away quickly if you need to kind of get your bearings. So try out a screen before moving into goggles. That's it for now, and I'll catch you next time. Have a great flight.
Oh, completely. And this was the first year of it. I mean, and that's the thing, is most people are only getting to run one event. And like one event for their year, like they're going to have all their hiccups. But guess what? I guarantee the next time they're going to learn from all their mistakes. So
no, there's a lot to learn.
Everybody else, you get to watch everybody else too along the way and see what they do wrong. So
yes, there's definitely a lot. There's a learning curve to going to an event and also organizing an event. They're both massive learning curves, and like you don't realize it until you actually do it. And you're like, dang, I should have brought 2 quads. I should have done this. I should have drank more water.
Trust me, that was the learning curve for me from the beginning. I remember I would go with 1 quad about 10 races in. I'm like, oh, maybe I should start bringing 2 because it gets really scary when something goes down. You got to fix that thing. So like, I mean, I don't go with any less than 3 now. Like that's
nice.
my
That's your staple.
Yeah, just like, I mean, I want to be comfortable enough to where if I have 2 really bad crashes, I'm like, I feel comfortable enough where I have 1. If you crash that many times, though, at that point, you're probably not going to be in the running for the races.
That's true. It's very true. Dude, nowadays, there's some races where you crash once. That's it. You're already out of the racing for the top 5.
I will say, though, that's one of the things that will... that kind of stuff's got to be addressed when it comes to race organization. You can't have that kind of stuff go on. Like, you got to have at least a double elimination for people. People need to be comfortable on a track. That's when it becomes racing, really, is when people know a course. You don't see Indy drivers or NASCAR drivers or F1 drivers go jump onto a cold course. They never do.
Yeah,
I mean, if they've run that course for a couple of days, they know it inside and out.
Yeah. That's why I said the same thing about that. They need to start either televising the course, you know, giving out the specs of the course. You know, there's a sweeping turn to the right, you know, 500 feet wide, you know, something like that, so that you can at least, because when you get to this point, you're in it. You're paying for the air flare. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just not you just showing up. You're not driving 10 miles down the road. You're crossing the country. You know what I mean? Most of the time. So, you know, give us a little courtesy as the pilot pilots that to give us a little awareness of what we have to deal with when we get there, so that we can be less apprehensive about flying what we got to fly, the course.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you're actually thinking about racing, not learning while you're up there.
Right. Right.
Most of the time, people are just learning a course before they ever get a chance to really run it.
Yeah,
So.
it's true. So, like,
and there's pilots that do well doing that, but not every great pilot is like that. That's not their normal, training process.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's definitely tough. So, like, how many times do you want to fly a course before you can say, all right, I got it down, I got the timing down, I'm ready to actually start qualifying for it?
I mean, it would really depend on me. Like, personally, I think no matter what, 2 days is really what you should have on a course to run. It's hard to set up something like that because you need to have a Thursday, Friday, and then a Saturday, Sunday to race. Like, that's just what it is. But for larger scale events, I don't think that's out of the question. I think having, people come in on a Wednesday night, come practice on Thursday as an option, make practice on Friday a mandatory, and then Saturday and Sunday do your racing. But at a big scale event, I think that's good. Regional events and stuff like that, at least give us a day on a course. At least let us get 5-6 packs burned into a course. And if we do that, you'll have so much less complaints about things. You'll hear pilots be so much happier with things, just because, you know what, if they crash out in one of their next seats or something like that, they know it's on them. Like, that was them. Like, it wasn't going, damn, if I had, been able to run this course a couple times and really learned it, I could have raced the course instead of...
Or they changed something like they normally do. So, bitches, they changed something on you the night after practice, right? Whoa, where the hell that turn come from?
Yeah. You can't have that kind of stuff happen. It's unacceptable, and that's, like I said, that's one of the reasons I definitely think you'll start hearing more of a voice from the pilots and stuff like that, because there's got to be some kind of standardization and for racing in general, because if you're going to be associated with the same league, whatever the league is, they need to have a certain standard of what they live up to, and then the pilots know, because then at least if you go to this race, it's going to be done this way. If you go to this race, it's going to be done this way.
Yeah, I agree with that, but Jude, I don't know, you tell me about this, because I'll run a 2-day race, but will people actually want to not only come to a race starting on Wednesday, but actually pay for that? Because as an organizer, I would have to pay for the venue space for 2 extra days. Would the pilots be willing to pay more for that? That's the...
Personally, yeah, I do think they would. That's the only reason is because I feel like if they're paying for it, they know it's more of a guarantee that they're going to have, a successful or fun experience. That's really why I think. Because, you pay $40 to get into an event. You go to that event. A lot of times we go in with expectations that we don't know if they're going to happen or not. And if I went and paid $150 for an event, if I paid $150, I'm pretty sure that there's a reason I'm paying $150. Like, I feel like there's a reasoning behind it. I mean, that's the only reason I really think that I would pay for it. So.
I know you would, because you're hardcore. I mean, I've seen you everywhere this year. You are willing to go anywhere. If it's racing, you are there.
You probably got one of them free flights to Hawaii and back to Dubai now.
I do have a free flight for travel.
Shit, y'all been everywhere and anywhere. Like I saw you went and hung out with the Horizon crew.
Yeah.
All you guys was together. That was pretty cool. I saw that video, and I saw you. How do you like that? That's a crazy place, ain't it?
People don't grasp the scope or the size of Horizon hobby. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge place.
That's an understatement.
Right.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Like, you pull up and you're like, what the
Yeah, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That's all I can think in my head.
Shit! Wow! And then you walk behind something and you go, shit! What the? Holy crap!
You just you don't realize how many brands they actually are. That's
True
why.
True that.
It's cool though, man, because there are a lot of the really good brands out there though. Like, so they're doing things correctly.
Well,
And they're on top of it always.
And it looks like they're kind of late to the party, but it looks like they're going to be hitting quad racing stuff pretty hard here. Hopefully in the next couple of months, because they're a little bit behind on that stuff. But,
yeah, they are. They are with some stuff for sure. They're developing. They're trying to see where they wanted to go. I definitely would expect something in 2017 to happen for possibly seeing a team come out from them and everything. So
definitely that'd be pretty cool. Hey, it's the only way to grow a sport. Just have more teams and have more people that are willing to compete for those spots and teams.
Exactly.
So cool. All right. So heading into 2006. Well, we already talked a little bit about 2016. You just started flying everywhere. Did you have a goal in terms of like, I want to hit these type of events, or do you just like, dude, if it's a race, I'm there? Well, I mean, what was your mentality?
If it's a race, I'm there. Yeah, it's funny. I race a lot of multi-GP events, and one of the events that I went to at a regional final, my name tag said Mackenna McClure, McFly, and then it says "Have quad, will travel."
Somebody knew you real well.
It was funny because everybody else had like their home chapter that they were at, and that was what mine said.
Somebody knew you. It's like, oh, it's McFly again.
Yeah, I always if it was somewhere in the state, I would drive 4.5 hours for it to go fly. It was worth it. It's fun. I mean, it's one of the reasons I wake up and I'm happy to be alive every day because of it. It's that incredible to me. So
that's pretty awesome. By the way, before I forget, tell the audience the story of how you got the handle McFly.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, I was sitting inside my house and we were watching TV and Back to the Future happened to be on. I was like, oh, that's cool, And they're like Marty McFly. I was like, oh, McFly. I was like, oh, well, my last name's McClure. I was born in 1985, same year that Back to the Future came out, and McClure, McFly, and I was like, I fly drones. I was like, McFly. I was like, it works perfect. I was like, it's a play on words, basically, but I try to in every sense if I can. Like, I am McFly for what I am, not for anything related to Back to the Future, because if it does, it's always like, if this stuff gets big one day, I was like, they're gonna be like, nope, you can't use that name, and I'm like, no, it's not happening.
I'm gonna go find a Back to the Future sticker, and when he's not watching, I'm gonna slap it right on him.
Oh.
That's good. Hey, that's a good way to get a nickname, man. It's hard to find handles nowadays. Everything's taken. It's like it's gone.
Yeah, and it's great. I've had that handle for 17 months, I guess. So. Okay.
That's how old the sport is.
No, it's basically been since like racing started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not even that long.
Started, and I held on to it. I was like, I'm not changing it.
Not changing it.
It works. All right, so qualified for nationals on 2016. Went up there. Did you see a big difference between 15 and 16? Besides, it was bigger and it was New York.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 15 was definitely, there was more focus on the pilots for sure. 2016, there was a lot less focus on the pilots, much more focus on what the sponsors were watching.
TV.
Yeah, ESPN,
Yeah, no,
with the territory.
It was understandable, but it was unacceptable at the same time. But like I understood why it happened, but the thing is, like they should have made an effort to at least have some side of their organization focus on the pilots, like, and take care of what was going on with the pilots. And everything else, I think, would have went well either way. But you would have heard less feedback from the pilots being upset. The world didn't see that because it's a production. It's very easy to show good production as long as you got good snippets. So it's not hard to have camera transitions. I mean, I understand that because I was part of the commercial world for a long time, and I mean that's just how it works. So, but I mean, but it was good in any sense because I mean, this is gonna happen. There's something big that's gonna happen as long as we keep pushing forward, and that was the thing about Drone Nationals. It was something that's going to give us an opportunity. It was big names that actually came in. It wasn't, sponsors that were strictly a part of the RC industry. It was outside sponsors.
Yep.
So, wait, I got a question. Do you think that, here I'm going to speak about the size of the ship. Do you think that we really need to start looking forward to the larger ships, the 1,000 millimeter size quads, running 12S and,
not at the point we're at. I definitely think that's something that could happen in the future. That reminds me of like an F1 series of like quad racing. That's going to be the upper echelon. Those are going to be the type of guys that, they're going to spend, like in retrospect, like when you really think about it, those are the guys that are going to spend $20 million a year on a company or on a team. Like an F1 team spends as much money per year on their team as a NASCAR team is worth. That's like the difference. Like I think those are only going to be the super top end big name companies. Like that's going to be some big dogs. I think in a certain sense we'll probably like us. I think we'll be racing. I'm looking more for like a 450, 500 size copter is what I'm thinking. We're going to be eventually racing, because I feel like it'll be able to put an HD system on it more feasibly, a lot easier. It's like you can do it right now, but it's really it's
still a tight cramp.
It is, and we're running 4S, and that's when I think we should start, having, like 450 size copters running 6S, maybe possibly 8S with like 10-inch props. Like that sounds fun.
Sounds fun, and it'll be loud. It'll be just as loud as anyway.
Yeah, it'll really come down to the fact that it'll have to be very, very closed off courses done correctly.
Oh, yeah.
And I think those copters are going to have most likely, just because of what they are, they're probably going to have a certain set of like fail safes that we know that we can really count on. So
yeah,
I mean, we're already, I think on a 4S battery, I've seen things go up to about 80 miles an hour, which is pretty amazing for a 4S battery.
I've seen copters do 100 on 4S.
Yeah, not too long ago. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's like it's crazy how much power we can push out of a small battery nowadays.
And we're asking for more out of our batteries.
Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Quick story about Drone Nationals. From what you said about the sponsor stuff. So, I won't name the sponsor because sponsors are weird. So I went up and talked to one of the sponsors, and I was trying to grasp why they were even there. They were one of the sponsors that had nothing to do with anything related to racing or needing to advertise even. I mean, like, they just didn't need to advertise. And, like, I was like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, we just wanted to be part of the event. We like this idea, and, like, we wanted to be a part of it, so we sponsored so that we can be out here to meet the people. And I'm like, what? That was the weirdest thing. So I think you're right. I think it has legs. When sponsors sponsor just for the heck of being there.
Just for the heck of being there.
And I'm like, and by the way, like the sponsors I'm talking about, they did not have a small tent. They had a pretty big tent.
No. Trust me. I was talking to a couple of those companies over there. I couldn't even believe it. That one company was at EM2 or something like that. They're owned by Dell. And I was laughing because the guy was talking to me. He's like, we're a $74 billion company. I was just like,
hey, can you,
wow. I was like,
can you have a seat in this chair right here? We're going to hook these things up to you.
It's like, hey, come on. You can spring for a couple of bucks, sponsor like 12 teams. Come on, you can do it. $12 million.
I'm laughing about it. I'm like, when these guys get into this, even if they started teams at this level, it'd be like pennies for these companies at this point.
Exactly.
They'd be like, you'd be like, fly them over there, and your schedule is tomorrow.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, trust me, it's coming. It's coming.
I hope so. I definitely do hope so. But
Yeah.
yeah, so moving on to nationals. You're going to be what? I think the next big race for you is the one that's coming up in which is multi-GP nationals, right?
Multi-GP Nationals. Yeah.
All right.
That's
so,
September, right?
yeah.
Yeah, September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, real soon.
Yeah, that's like next week.
3
No,
days.
this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend coming
this
up.
weekend. But before
Oh,
we, yeah, sorry. But before we get to that, you actually participated in a race that we're all super interested in, which is it happened in Florida, sponsored by your buddies Lumenier.
Yep.
You had the first ever HD race. 8 Connex systems, everybody racing the HD systems, right?
Yeah, 8 Connex systems. We all basically what happened was Lumenier put this whole event together. They picked 8 pilots. 5 of us were from Lumenier. The other 2 were from Miami. They were part of the Gravity Goons. It was Frank and David Garcia, and then Abel. Abel was the other pilot. It was Navihawk. They put this together because we haven't really heard about it. Like, of course, here's the Connex Prosight system. People have flown it. You've seen a couple people posting videos, some reviews done on it. But you've never seen anything that says this has been put to a race test or flown with 8 pilots like they supposedly claimed. So everybody's, completely sitting there skeptical as hell. What do you expect? That's the biggest thing. Well, we wanted to see if it was possible. And that's what Tim Nielsen did. And he's like, I'm going to try to see it. And he goes, we're going to see it. And he goes, we want to be honest. If it doesn't work, we want you to be honest. Let them know it doesn't work. And I was like, this is awesome. I was like, we're going to get to really be really truthful about what is going. And we're going to be able to tell the community exactly what happened.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was the really exciting thing. Because, there's times when, they have these new systems and they want to sell units and stuff. And, shown some video of what it looks like. Yeah, it looks good, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit there and tell anybody it's great if I don't believe in it. There's no point.
Yep, it's true, because it's just going to come back on you anyways
when
they buy it.
This doesn't work. Yeah, about it.
Now what do I do? Oh crap! Run away. So
they set up, but it was cool, man. So we went there. We went to this private airfield that was a AMA field, beautiful field. They let us set a course up on there. The Connex guys came out, Vuzix came out, Adjuvant Glyph, the goggles came out there, and they set up these systems. We used a Blackmagic 4K DVR recorder. That was this one thing they wanted to buy so we could get all of the feeds coming in at one time and it would fit on one screen and we could have it. And we put 2 guys up to start, just to make sure, see what would go. Perfect video is great. There was a couple hiccups in the beginning because it was us getting used to the setup process of the systems. It's super, super simple once we started using it. So we started using it. We did 2 pilots. 2 pilots was cool, did 1 round, did that. Threw 4 pilots on, or 4 pilots, and we're starting on the start line. It's people bunched up. It's the one thing that you always notice on analog. It doesn't matter what you do about it. You're always going to see a little bit of bleed, a little bit of flicker on the line.
Somebody.
Yeah. It's just what you expect. Even with brand new transmitters, you're going to see it. Well, we're sitting there, and I'm watching the dragonflies fly in front of my camera. and I'm just laughing, and we're all sitting there. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, all right. So take off 4 people. 4 people. We finish a whole round with 4 people in the air. We're like, all right, cool. This is, seems like it's working. They're like, all right, we're going to do 6. I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, oh, we're going to do 6. I was like, this is going to be interesting. I was like, I don't know how this is going to work. I was like, 6 on analog is scary. 6 takeoff, and video's good. I don't see any breakup. I couldn't tell you if someone was on next to me. It wouldn't have mattered. It would have never. Couldn't tell you until someone flies by you and you see their copter in your view. And you're like, okay, cool. Analog, when you fly with 6 people or you start getting up into 8. We flew 8 last year at multi-GP Nationals. That was the first time I'd ever seen 8 pilots go up in the air at one time. Analog 25 milliwatt. They did it. It was pretty wild. But when you were all sitting there, you could see some stuff. And when you were flying out, you knew if someone was coming up on you.
You
knew if you were coming up on someone else because you could always feel that little bit of shake in your video or a little bit of bleed over. You knew someone was coming. Well, we did 6, and I didn't see any of that. So they're like, all right, here we go. 2 groups come up, 4 and 4. We throw 8 copters up, and they're all sitting on the line. They're all QAVRs or QAV 210s. Lumenier provided to make sure that we had, similar components. And actually, the wild thing is the Prosight fits perfect in the QAVR and the QAV 210. Like it wasn't necessarily built for it, but for some reason the transmitter fits perfect. So we got 8 guys up there on the line, and I'm just like, this is never going to work. That's what every one of us said. We all said the same thing. We're trying to be as skeptical as possible. Meanwhile, we are running the 720i, which is 60 frames a second, but it's still drastically better when you're flying. I'm talking about when you're going over grass and you're a foot away from the grass. You can see the blades of grass very distinctively. You can see a gate that's 100 feet away from you with the banner and read the banner. Like that's what, like it's definitely, even at 60 frames in a lower setting, it's still like the quality is very good on it. It's definitely a difference. Well, 8 go up and they count down the timer, and we take off at 8 with 8, and I just wanted to see something. So we're all on the line. I saw 5 copters take off, and then I popped up and took off. And there were 6 copters in front of me and 1 behind me, and then I pushed forward to come fly closer into them. You couldn't tell me that I was flying next to anybody. The only reason I knew is because I could see the copters so damn good. There's no break. There was no breakup. There wasn't a blip. There wasn't a noticeable anything. And we are in a pile of 7 copters flying next to each other, and there's nothing. It's just perfect video the whole time, locked in video. That's how good it was. And in any sense, that is the thing that we have been waiting for. That is the thing that 8 months ago, 9 months ago, I go, gosh, this is really going to turn into racing when we can stop bickering and getting frustrated about this video issue. That was the first time I'd ever experienced it.
That is awesome.
It was incredible. And I mean, they're going to put out a video soon or something, so they're going to go between the feeds and everything, and you'll be able to see something. But like, the first time you see this in person, it is going to blow your mind. Like, it will. It genuinely will. I couldn't believe it. It was like all of a sudden starting over into a whole new facet of FPVing.
Yes, definitely. I do have the Connex system as well, and I haven't run with another Connex system because it's still kind of expensive to actually own even just one of these. So.
No, it is, and that's the thing that's that's the one thing I do need to say about that system is, like, I believe this is going to be a system that is going to be used when it's on a level where we need it and are requiring it at a race. Like, that's the reason it's going to be there. You'll know ahead of time. There'll be a reason for you to get it and get used to it. It flies the same as my analog to me in my 60 frames a second, except I have a bigger view, better view. It flies the same to me. I feel like it truly does. But I definitely feel like it's going to be for higher end racing and stuff. It's not going to be a consumer level stuff, because the thing you got to realize, and I talked with the guys from Amazon quite a bit about this. We asked at the end of it, we sat down with them as a group and we got to discuss with them. We were like, are we going to see a price drop, hopefully, in some of this stuff? And they're like, you have to understand. They're like, the system. Well, this is the thing, is like the system that we're using at $500 is a system that they sell for $10,000. Like, this is a system that cost a lot of money to develop, and it's worth way more than what it is, but they have shrunk it down into something that is giving it to us at like this lowest base they can get it to, just to be, because they really are, they want to be a part of this community. That's really what it is. Like, they're banking on trying to make this happen. They want this to be something impressive, and honestly, they're working really hard to do it. Trust me, in the next 6 months to a year, we're going to see some crazy stuff when it comes to HD. Like,
definitely.
Yeah.
Now I have a few things to ask you, because since you and I both have a little time on the HC systems, when you were flying the 720i, one thing that I noticed as opposed to analog, when I'm flying analog, is that it seems like the breakup, how when it breaks up it pixelates, right? Which is fine, right? But it seems like the pixelation is more like you can anticipate it a lot easier, and when it comes back, it's just easier. Whereas with analog, like when when fuzz hits you, you have no idea on what part of the screen that's going to hit you, and it could just screw you right up. And it's like, do you have that same feeling?
I feel like you can, and once you fly an area a little bit, you kind of figure out like what the antenna is and why it's doing it in that certain area of the screen. Almost, it feels like. But like, I don't know. Honestly, most of my experiences with it, I've had pretty rock solid video the whole time, and I don't know. I always make sure my ground station's like 7 feet up, because I did one time. I set it behind me and I was standing in front of it flying, and came down this long stretch. I was like 100 feet away from me, and it broke up and went black on me, and I was like,
oh.
I was like, there really is something to that, I guess. So, but as long as you have the system out in the open, and the thing is, like, I don't think this is something that most people are going to buy just to fly around and just mess with, because it's an expensive investment. And like, that's why I feel like it's going to be something that's going to be used for racing in a race setting. And most race setting, if the course is set up correctly, you have a huge open area where you have full coverage and you don't have to worry about that kind of interference. And when we had it at the race we had, it was open, nothing in the way, and perfect video the entire time. So
nice. Pretty awesome. Now, did you have? I've already, like, the frame that I put mine on. I also put mine on a QAVR. I snapped an arm already hitting into a tree, and nothing broke. Has yours been just as durable?
Yeah, I actually I just rebuilt my whole copter right now. Actually.
He broke yours too, huh?
Yeah, I changed something. I actually got this front camera to squeeze in between the cam planes on this. And it rotates fully back and forth, and it still has the rubber grommet around it, so it's still protected, so I don't have an open camera. And I flew it last night, and through my entire throttle band, I can't see a shake. It's so clean a video. I was blown away. I was like, well, at least I figured out how to mount this correctly. So I'm digging it. It fits perfect in here. I smashed it. The only thing that I broke on it was one antenna, and trust me, it deserved to break. It would have broke anything. It didn't matter.
Well, hey, that's probably one of the things that all of us are worried about, is the durability of the camera and the VTX, because it's hefty to replace. If you want to practice on it, you probably want a backup VTX backup camera. It's like $300 in your bag.
They just dropped the price of the camera. Actually, it's
so that's good.
It's $99 now. So
wow.
Still like $250.
It's still double what you would normally pay for a really good good CCD cam.
So yeah, but you know what? They're trying. I mean,
no, they are. Trust me.
So
they want this to work.
No, good on them for. If they continue the support that I'm seeing doing, because they're starting to look like they want to sponsor events. If they get that market saturation, and people have already bought their stuff, there's not going to be much competition for the next guy, because that's a high turnover in order to buy into another system.
It's actually what the company that they deal with specializes in. Like, that's their main thing that they like. If you go to any Hollywood studio, anywhere you see a director in a room, they originally developed their wireless HD streaming to stream from a camera to a director's seat, so he can have a live view. That's where they like originally were doing a lot of their stuff. Like, their chipsets, their semiconductors are in everything in the world when it comes to that.
That's last year. Last year we used the Connex 3000 for the 3000 and the 5000 for like 2 months on a shoot, and that was the only issue I had with the whole unit, was the fact that they were using the dipole antennas. Yeah, we changed them all out. Like, everybody was shocked. Like, we show up and we're like getting maximum range, and they're like, how does this happen? And I just pulled out 5 clover leaves and bent them all cockeye, and like, we're good. Let's just go. And everybody's like, damn, dude, how clear is your video? And they were like, I'm like, you guys use the wrong antennas.
That's what I laughed about. Honestly, I was like, why are they still sending linear polarized antennas with this high-end system? I was like, damn,
Dude,
because they can't,
they don't want to afford it.
Yeah, but for some reason they personally prefer it just the way that their antenna system is on the actual aircraft. The one thing I will tell you guys, if you've never checked this out, and it will be the one thing that will be another one of those things where you have like this aha moment when you mess with this Connex system. Go fly inside of a metal structure.
It's good.
Go fly indoors wherever there's multipathing, please. Go into the most heavy multipathing place you can possibly fly and go fly that system and just experience the pure joy. Like I cannot even describe how amazing it is. It does not work the way analog does. So when you have a digital signal that is multipathing, it doesn't matter. It is the signal that it's grasping. So you're having multiple signal basically bounced and made more. So it works better in an RF environment that's noisy.
It's pretty cool.
It's crazy. We flew Bapu's Connex system in Horizon Hobby's 342,000 square foot warehouse.
Yeah.
And we flew the whole thing from one side to the other behind 10 rows of shelving that is metal and parts and perfect video the whole way.
There you go, folks. We have found the system to fly in those pesky metal stadiums.
It is. I'm telling you what, it is. That is, in my opinion, that is the fix when it comes to a multipathing race. Like, if you want to go fly indoors, make sure everybody's running an HD system, and you'll be perfectly fine.
Nice.
It's actually a really good idea, and it's one of those things where like now event organizers are at like this horrible decision point, because you could either spend $500 to get a really good analog ground station, like quasi-quad, quad receivers, or you can go and buy the Connex system, and like you're kind of splitting the community at this point, because it's either the haves and the haves not at this point, and it's a little tough.
It's for sure.
Yeah,
but that's normal. That you either
it is the progression that I feel like a lot of us want, though, at the same time, because it makes it more legitimate. It's going to make it be able to be streamed a lot easier. People will actually want to watch the video. Like, that's the one thing. People hate watching our analog feeds.
Right.
That's very true. Actually, once you get into HDMI, like, the world of possibilities of streaming is like infinite, because we've been on HDMI forever now, and like the equipment is just out there.
Yeah.
Right.
So, whereas analog, people are looking at you just like, what?
It cracks me up. Even the people that are freaking 60 years old, I'm like, what is? She's like, I love what you're. She's like, how do you fly with that? And I'm just like, yeah, you don't know the struggle.
You don't know the struggle.
You don't have a clue.
Hey, don't talk, okay? I've been doing this a long time. Just leave me alone.
It's called the Force.
I'm like a baby when it comes to FPV, but I'm a veteran when it comes to FPV racing.
Yeah.
Well,
Got it.
hey, I'm glad to hear that story from you, that like all of your pessimistic views have been wiped away by just rock awesome performance from the Connex system, because that's what we all want to hear. So definitely looking forward to that.
The funny thing is, there was 8 people there that said the same thing. 8 pilots that said the same thing. We all walked in with these non-expectations and walked out smiling because we loved it and it was that much fun.
Awesome. So, Connex system, some coupon codes, please.
Right, I
know. Okay, moving on. Multi-GP Nationals. Have you qualified? Are you going up to their UTT
I'm doing the UTT 60. I did really well at my regional qualifiers. Went to the regional final. Just had a bad day. Didn't do real well for the 3 rounds. It happens. It's all about who performs on race day. That's the one thing with this is, you can be the best in the world, but if you don't perform that day, you're not going to do anything. So.
Yep.
I'll go up there for the UTT 60. From what I know, we're running the regional course again, which I've got quite a bit of experience on right now, and I actually, I feel I'm comfortable with it. I mean, I've gone to enough races at this point. Like that was my big thing this year was getting over that edge. Like of every time you go to the races, the nerves and this. I went to nationals and I stood up on that stage. I didn't even shake when I was flying, and I couldn't believe it because it was like that was the thing I was trying to get to was just be comfortable, you know. And it finally happened. So now if I you know I go to a race and I'm just gonna go do my thing. If I don't do well, I don't. If I I do well and more power to me. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I think you were the only guy at nationals that stood up on that stage and still flew. I think everybody else sat down.
Yeah, I have to stand. I do some funky it's weird. I get into my flying and I kind of move with my copter when I fly. It's just the way I am. And if I'm sitting down, I feel restricted to do that.
Oh, okay. You want that freedom. You want that.
Yeah,
ability.
I like being able to kind of. It's funny, man. I literally do when I go through my turns and slaloms. You'll see me, man. I swing my hips. It cracks me up.
Hey, no, I saw it, and like I know when you're like you're a little bit nervous because you twitch a little bit when it's like oh, okay, that was a little close.
Yeah, that was close.
It's like he must have been close on one of those stupid gates.
Something.
No, that's cool though. It's like I don't know. Like I try to stand up and fly, and like I practice, and it's like it's hard because like you try to balance and you try not to move, and it's like okay, I'm concentrating on too many things at once.
Too many things right now.
Yeah. But cool, man. All right, yeah, it'd be great to see you up in Multi GP Nationals. I'll be there. We'll catch up again when we're out there.
Yeah, for sure, brother.
Okay, so let's start wrapping up. Like, obviously, you're in this for the long haul, and you're already dedicated. Like, in terms of your career trajectory, it's like, what is your goal? Do you just want to fly, or do you want to like manage a team, or do you want to be like the team captain type deal, or is there something you're grasping for as a goal going into 2017?
2017, I mean, really is 2016 I win this year. I was like, I have to, at least do something to kind of make a name for myself and at least be noticed in the beginning, because it's one of those things where I feel like if you get on the forefront, you can if you can keep rolling and doing what you're doing well, you can possibly make something with it. 2017, I think, is the year that I'm going to be pushing to hopefully, see where this leads and hopefully get something that's what we all want, at least the top guys want. We want to do this professionally and do it full time,
Yep.
I would love to, I want to be a part of a team that's, that's going to be successful together. Lumenier right now, I mean, the best bunch of guys that I could be with. We all, we love flying and we're all really good pilots. So it's nice to get around with them. I'm always confident with them. But 2017 is definitely the year where I want to hopefully make something with this and hopefully can actually make a living doing this. Because right now it's literally I fly and do nothing but fly, and I'm trying to just focus on doing that because I don't want to get left behind whatsoever. And if it turns into something, I want to be kind of ready for that path of let's go. We're going to be here next week. We're going to be here next week. We're going to be here next week. Like I want to be comfortable doing it. So that's what I've been doing.
Wow.
Pretty much.
That's dedication, and it's worth letting the world know that you are that dedicated. I will say that because, like, it's, I mean, we didn't talk about it, and you haven't really focused much on it, but there are sacrifices that you make when you have that level of dedication. It's like you're not earning extra money to put away for a rainy day. Let me say that because there's a lot of pilots that if you have this level of dedication, there's things you have to sacrifice in order to do it. And
yeah, I trust me, I have. I mean, I'm like, honestly, I'm a 30-year-old guy, but like I literally moved out of my place I was living, and I'm living back at my mom's house strictly so I can focus on flying. I know I can do I can do other stuff, but like right now it's like they want me to focus on this, and they're giving me the ability to, and I'm not going to let them down in that sense because I have to make something of it because of that. So
nice.
Hey, it's good on you. It's like follow your dreams, as Elvan said in the beginning. You only get a chance. You get a crack at it once.
You only get exactly, and that's if I don't push now, I won't get another opportunity to push this hard. Trust me. There's gonna be too many people running up the ladder. It's happening.
Hey, Elvan, you know that, right? It's like
get back down there. Stop it.
Hey, we're all trying to find our place in this, and I'm glad that
Took my
glad you're here.
tennis shoes already. Damn.
It's tough though. Yeah. I get the feeling. Actually, I forgot to ask you. I kind of jumped ahead to 2017 question. Is Lumenier going to Worlds? I have very little.
As of right now, we have one pilot that qualified technically is Nick Willard. He placed 5th at Nationals, so he is on Team USA to go to Worlds. I don't know exactly what's going on with the rest of the team, if we're going to be going over there or not. I really hope we are, but there's got to be a good reason to bring all of us over there. But as of right now, I don't know what's going on. I know that event's going to be very, very focused on the pilots, though. That's the one thing that they have been telling us is they're going to make sure that this is for the pilots and the pilots get to go have fun. Like that's what we're hearing. So hopefully we go over there because there's supposed to be a whole bunch of just free flying everywhere the whole time we're there. So.
That would be awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That will be so awesome.
Elvin's from Hawaii, so it's like reunion time for him. It's like,
Dude, I'm like trying to drop weight now so I can back it on.
You're telling me. That sounds laughing. I was like,
Oh my!
GP Nationals is off. I was like, I have a couple weeks off. I was like, I got to get back in the damn gym. I was like, I've been flying too much.
You just said, hey, you know what? That means your flying has improved because you're not doing the walk of shame. It's like, dang it, where'd my quadcopter go? You go find it again.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing a whole lot. It's like, okay, hopefully the beeper's still working. Otherwise, tall grass. Crap.
I ain't got no roof, no beeper.
Oh, shut up. Oh, shut up. Shut up.
I know where it's at. It's over there behind that tree.
Hey, quick question. You're rocking the new QAVX, right? How do you like that machine?
I've been flying that frame for about 4 months now. I'm absolutely in love with that frame, and it's not just because I fly for Lumenier. Trust me, because that's the one thing they about them is they've told us to like fly what you're comfortable with, fly what you feel you're going to win with. You know, they want us to run their motors because their motors are their like main staple of stuff. So we run their motors, and I love their motors. But QAVX. Solid, strong frame, super easy to build, super easy to get to. That's my big important thing when it comes to any kind of racer. I don't think you should have tons of parts, tons of components that get in the way. Like you take out 4 screws, your whole top comes off on that copter, and you're at your flight controller where all your solders are, your ESCs. You know, it makes it simple, but it's strong too. I've flown probably 600-700 batteries through those frames, and I've only broke 2 of them. So
that's pretty good. Yeah. Do you fly the 3 or the 4 mil ones, the base plates?
I flew both of them when we were testing, but Lumenier decided to do correct cut on their carbon fiber only. So their carbon fiber is cut correctly, so it is much more rigid. The 3 mil is so strong, it's impressive. But the 4 mil, if you break a 4 mil, geez, good luck.
I actually really love like single sheet base plates. It just makes things so much better. So
I flew a Voodoo 210 forever. Single monoplate. That was my thing. I love the monoplate. I like the rigidity of it better personally. You just throw a couple standoffs in it and it makes that thing really tight.
Yep, that I totally agree. And the only thing I will say about the QAVX is the 28 millimeter spacers. It's like nobody has extras of those things, so you better bring your own.
Yeah. That was the one thing. They went to a smaller size. I'm not exactly sure why they did that. I kind of like the lower profile of it, which is good, and it does keep everything a lot lower. And I really do like the fact that they have the standardized camera angle for the GoPro because you're not fidgeting with it. You just lock it down, and that's where it's at. So
that's true. Awesome. Well, it looks like you still have a lot of competing to do for 2016, and it'll be another tough year, 2017, for competing because I don't think anybody has a real picture of what 2017 will look like. It'll be interesting.
No, it's gonna. We were all like after last year, we were like, "Gosh, 2016 is gonna be huge," and now after this year, we're like, "Oh no." We know it's about to happen, especially since if you look around the world right now, there's every weekend
it's blowing up.
Event going on somewhere, and they're not small events; they're big events.
Yeah, we got an event up here. It's in Kershaw, Oregon. What was that? FPV Jamboree. This weekend, so it's crazy
event,
stuff, man. 3-day event.
Yeah, they're all big events now. It's like nothing's this one. Or
they're trying to be all big events. It's tough, man. I don't know how these guys will keep paying the bills, but we will see. I'll tell you this though, like I keep track of the pulse of the event organizing, and like France and South Korea must have crazy budgets because they're holy crap. It's like, who pays for this stuff?
The Korean events are really, really well put together, it seems like. I'm telling you what. Every time we see one of those, we're just like, wow. That looks pretty nice.
It's like, do I need to move to South Korea?
Yeah.
Like, it's like...
No, I think that's the thing is, I think, trust me, the United States has taken notice, and trust me, we'll change our game real quickly. I guarantee.
Next year we'll have quad fu.
You are a funny man. All right, bro. That's all I have, unless you got anything else you want to bring up.
Just hoping to make it to multi-GP, honestly. That's the only thing.
There you go, man. Well, be safe out there, man, and we hope the weather dies down for you so you can get to your race.
Yeah, so, yep. Before we let you go, where can people find you on the internet? Plug your social media sites.
You can find me on Facebook at Mackenna McClure. My YouTube is Mackenna McClure, but you can look me up under McFly. And then I have my Instagram, which is McFly FPV.
McFly FPV. Cool, man. And definitely look him up. If he is at an event, definitely go talk to him. Really friendly guy.
We're here to support the community. That's the thing, is if we don't talk to everybody, it doesn't get any bigger and nobody knows about it. So
Right on.
Guarantee you he'll be rocking one of the Lumenier polos. I don't see him go anywhere without it. Literally.
Yeah.
No. Well, that's part of the deal.
It is part of the deal.
One for every day of the week, man.
That's all he wears. We go to his closet. That's all it is. Lumenier stuff. It's like, that's it.
Exactly. It looks good, at least.
Hey, you know what? They chose the right colors. I'll tell you that. They did.
Right.
Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast with us. Really enjoyed talking to you, and best of luck for the rest of 2016.
Yeah, we hope we see you in Hawaii too, man. It'll be fun to hang out there.
At the end of the day, I'll get there somehow.
He's just
might
going
have to use that mileage, you know.
He's gonna bike, swim, fly. He'll do everything.
I'll just build quadcopters to carry me over.
Oh God,
that'd be awesome. All right, man. You have a good night, and we'll probably talk to you again in 2017.
I appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
Okay.
so.